So, you're gearing up for the CompTIA A+ exam, right? Well, you've probably figured out it's not just about memorizing a bunch of facts. It's really about proving you can think and, more importantly, act like a real IT pro. Today, we're going to crack the code on what is, let's be honest, the toughest part of the test, those performance-based questions.
I want you to just picture this for a second. It's your first day, the phone is already ringing off the hook, tickets are just piling up, and yeah, everyone is looking at you for the answers. Now, this isn't just some random hypothetical, this is the exact mindset you need to bring to the A+ exam.
So for the next few minutes, I want you to forget you're studying for a test. You're a technician, you're on the clock. We're going to walk through a pretty typical day, and we'll be tackling the exact kinds of problems the A+ is going to throw at you. We're going to turn these real-world scenarios into exam success.
Okay, first things first, let's define the challenge ahead. We are talking about performance-based questions, or as you'll hear them called, PBQs. And trust me, this is where CompTIA really separates the folks who just read the book from the ones who are ready for the job.
Yeah, these are not your standard multiple-choice questions. Not at all. PBQs are these interactive simulations where you might be dragging and dropping hardware components into a virtual PC, or maybe configuring a network, or even troubleshooting from a command line. Look, they don't want to know if you can define what RAID is, they want to know if you can actually build a RAID array. It's all about doing the job.
All right, let's clock in. Our virtual day is starting, and you know what that means. The morning kicks off with a stack of hardware tickets. It's time to get our hands dirty, building and configuring systems right from the ground up.
And here we go. Ticket number 1 is in. We've got 2 new hires, and they need workstations with completely different requirements. I mean, this is a classic PBQ setup. You get a scenario, you get a pile of virtual parts. Let's get to building. So for the office manager, that's workstation A, they're going to be multitasking, but probably just on a single screen. We don't need to go crazy here. An i3 processor? Plenty. Integrated graphics? Totally fine. And 8 GB of RAM is really the sweet spot for a 64-bit OS to run smoothly. But the engineer, oh, that's a whole different story. They're using resource hogs like AutoCAD. So for them, we're talking an i7, a solid 16 gigs of RAM, and yep, multiple GPUs linked together for maximum graphics power. The big takeaway here is simple. The user's needs always dictate the build.
Now, let's talk about the trap, because there's always a trap. In that virtual list of components, you might have seen an ARM processor. And some people might think, oh, that's a good low-power option. But wait, the ticket explicitly calls for a 64-bit Windows OS. An ARM CPU is 32-bit. That makes it an impossible choice. CompTIA just loves these little details, so you have to, and I mean always, read those requirements carefully.
Okay, workstation ticket is closed. Boom. Next up, we've got a high-stakes request. A video client needs a server built for, and I quote, ultimate data protection. The magic words here, you gotta listen for them, are best possible data redundancy and money is no object. That is a massive signal telling you to start thinking about RAID configurations.
So let's do a quick review of our options. You've got RAID 1, which is pure mirroring. Super safe, but you only get half your total storage capacity. Then there's RAID 5, which stripes data with parity. It's a nice balance of performance and protection, but it can be painfully slow to rebuild. And then you have the big one, RAID 10, which combines mirroring and striping and requires at least 4 disks.
And right here, this is why RAID 10 is the clear winner for our client. Since money is no object and redundancy is the absolute key, we get the best of both worlds, the amazing speed of striping and the rock-solid safety of mirroring. And of course, we're going to pair it with the fastest storage available, SSDs, to give this client the high-performance, ultra-reliable server they need.
Phew, the morning hardware rush is done. So now that we've actually built our machines, it's time to get them talking to each other. Let's move on to the wonderful world of networking. You know, at the very heart of networking, you've got these 2 key protocols, TCP and UDP. I want you to think of TCP like a polite, formal handshake. It makes sure a reliable connection is established before any data gets sent. UDP, on the other hand, it's more like shouting across a crowded room. It's super fast and efficient because it just sends the data without waiting for a confirmation. And that's what makes it perfect for services like DHCP.
So a user calls in, I can't connect. You've already checked the software side, so now you're thinking it's probably a physical problem. And a really common PBQ style is just simple identification. Can you look at a cable end and know exactly what it is and what it's for? Let's find out.
Okay, rapid fire round. Let's go. That wide plastic connector, that's your RJ45 for Ethernet. The smaller one that looks kind of similar, that's an RJ11 for an old school phone or fax line. For video, that trapezoid shape is your classic HDMI. The old 15-pin blue connector, VGA for analog video. And the one with that single-angled corner, that's a DisplayPort. Knowing these instantly is going to save you so much critical time on the exam.
Okay, the day is starting to wind down, but the problems are not. Welcome to the afternoon triage, where we shift from being proactive with our setups to being reactive with our troubleshooting. This is all about being a digital detective.
All right, you get a call from a client, and they sound panicked, and they've given you 2 critical clues, a strange clicking sound and the dreaded blue screen of death. The term legacy PC is also a huge hint. An older machine means older components. Let's put on our detective hats.
So a clicking sound from a legacy PC, that is the classic death rattle of a mechanical hard drive. That's our clue number 1. The blue screen, that's a critical system error, and it's most likely caused by the operating system not being able to read from that failing drive. So to confirm our suspicion, we check the event viewer, and yep, there it is, a critical disk error ID 11. So what's our very first action? Before we do anything else, we run the check disk utility, or chkdsk, to at least try and repair any bad sectors. It's a logical step-by-step diagnostic process.
And of course, no technician's toolkit is ever complete without a really solid understanding of the command line. I mean, being able to navigate around with CD, list files with dir, make a new directory with md, and copy files with copy, these are just essential foundational skills for any technician, both on the job and for sure on the exam.
And the day is over. We made it. We've built workstations, we've configured servers, we've troubleshooted networks, and we solved some critical errors. Now, let's take all that experience and distill it down into a master key. A simple strategy you can use to unlock any PBQ that comes your way.
Here it is, your 4-step tactic. First, and this is crucial, read the entire scenario. Don't just skim it. Second, hunt for those key words. Words like 64-bit or redundancy or legacy are massive clues. Third, immediately eliminate the impossible trap answers, just like we did with that 32-bit ARM processor. And finally, put it all together and think like a real technician. What's the most logical, most efficient solution to the problem that's right in front of you? So there you have it. We have walked through the gauntlet from building hardware all the way to network diagnostics. You've seen how these real-world problems translate directly into exam questions. You have the tools, you have the strategy. So the only question left is, what problem are you ready to solve first? Good luck on your exams. You've got this.